This old guy DIY video has to do with my experience wiring a generator. I waited on this video until after the thing had been inspected. The electrical inspector was just here and he signed off. I'd like to approach this as something of a generator wiring for dummies video. I had never wired a generator before. I'm not an electrician, but when the local guys wanted $2,000 and told me it would take them 2 hours and about $150 in materials, I thought, man, that's a little steep. I need to read, watch some YouTube videos. If they can do it in 2 hours, I can probably do it in 4. It ended up taking me about 5.5 because I had to run to town twice. I cut my wires too short initially. I'll take a couple minutes and walk you through what I found to be important here. If you've never wired a generator before and you have these 6 little control wires, for example, the inspector commented if you're using something that's 120 volts or more, you can't relabel green wire. So in my case, I had some wire left over from another job. I used it here just for control wire. So he said in this case it would pass, but don't do that in the future. Now when it comes to the control panel, these are the wires that came from the house to the circuit breaker that had been here before the generator. And I use these little splicer reducers that I got at Maynard's. Then I put the rubberized tape over the top and the electrical tape over that to join these number 2 wires that run from the house to the circuit breaker on the generator. I'm using these splice blocks. I generously wrap that thing in rubberized tape. As I understand it, the thickness of the stuff over that metal splice is supposed to be twice the insulation thickness on the wire. So we should have that covered. Now I'll take some electrical tape and go over the top of the rubberized stuff. And then when you're wiring this thing, it's pretty easy if you go slow. So when I was doing it, you can see where the neutral wire is up here. That comes around, that comes into the main neutral in the panel. And then I bought a couple of these lugs. So when you have larger gauge wire like number 2, that is not designed to fit on that bar, you just put that lug in its place, then you can hook up what you need to in terms of wire size. But otherwise, it's very straightforward. Your juice coming in from the power box is right here on top. And you have a 100 amp breaker here that carries a service to the house. So when the electrician told me it was a 2-hour job, basically you have to terminate 6 full-size wires and those 6 little control wires. And with these Generac units, if you do something wrong, it tells you you did something wrong, so it's pretty child-proof. The point of this video is to say, if you're good mechanically and you can follow directions and you have a safe way to cut off the juice from the house, this is certainly not a job you need to be afraid of. But if you don't have a panel like this property has, where the power coming in from the power company immediately goes to 2 circuit breakers, if you have to contact the power company to pull the face off the panel, you know, that's an extra step that you'll have to take that I did not. In summary, what the local contractor said they could make happen in a couple hours, but they wanted $2,000 for, I did it in a little over 5 hours, including an extra trip to the store. It cost me about $200 of materials. I learned a lot, the inspector's happy, and the chick that lives here has a generator that runs the way it's supposed to. When the inspector showed up, I did not have this label in place. He said, check your package. I think Generac includes that label with their package of goodies. And he was right. That has to be mounted where the utility company will see it when they come to service their meter. While the inspector was here, I took the opportunity to interview him a little bit. And I asked if these generator wiring jobs normally work out pretty well. He said over the years, the only real problem he's seen is people that install the thing, they've done a beautiful job wiring it. He said when people put the unit next to the house, they sometimes disregard those minimum specs that Generac requires, whether it's 3 or 5 foot clearance from a window, for example. And he said if you want to see a guy that looks really sick when he's done a beautiful job with his electrical work and his plumbing to get gas to the unit, and then he says, oh, what about the window that's immediately above the unit? And the guy looks like he's going to puke. And the inspector says, well, I can't approve this today. You'll have to do it again and call another day. I'm over at the hot chick's house. I just finished up wiring the Generac. This is the panel that comes from the power meter. I ran my conduit over. Here's the Generac panel. I labeled this one house. See, that's the 100 amp. The house does have 100 amp service. And then on this side, the knockouts were gone. So I just stuck a breaker in there to fill the hole. first time. It says to let it run for about 20 minutes with the circuit breaker off. Basically, we're just letting the engine warm up. It's much quieter with the lid closed. We have a green light here on the end. And when I went to start this thing in manual, I had to go through the start process 3 times. The manual says that what's happening is the air is being purged out of that gas line. So for a 93-foot run of 1 1/4 inch gas line, it took 3 times through the start sequence, and then it took off. I ran this thing through its paces, and it did everything it's supposed to do. Fired it up on manual, let it run for a few minutes. Then I turned it to auto, and I turned that circuit breaker on, and I turned the breaker from the power pole off. Waited a few seconds, it kicked on just like it's supposed to, did its job. I turned the breaker back on, saying there's power coming from the utility company. It shut off a few minutes later, so everything is good. So I hope this video helped you. If you haven't subscribed, please do, and thank you for watching.